he goes. He mentioned Moloch too, right? After a while, they have to have an idea that they're communing with entities, because how many people come back from a DMT trip, or any trip for that matter, and have communed with some sort of entity? And once you start to establish a pattern there, you can start to imagine, well, they're going somewhere and they're communicating with something almost reliably, in the sense that we can, show a pattern here. So a lot of the times I would think to myself, what benefit do the intelligence agencies have? And I'm sure there's many, because it's never just one thing. It's multiple birds with one stone. What benefit do they have by pushing this drug culture? If you're talking about the crack epidemic, that one's pretty cut and dry with,
Yeah.
Destroying the family unit in the black communities and funding the Iran-Contra wars, all these different things. But with the LSD movement, to even entertain for a moment that they were fucking bringing Moloch into this dimension, that they were giving this entity enough energy from enough encounters with people that eventually they would bring back into this reality, to some sense, an Old Testament deity that the Canaanites worshipped, is fucking... I don't want to have this be taken the wrong way. It's cool as shit.
I gotta dig up that quote where he talks about it. It's in that Jay Stevens book. And to be precise, although you actually could be onto something that I hadn't thought about, which is a lot of these dudes, like the beat poets and these sort of counterculture figures, they actually did have Fed ties quite a bit. I don't know if Ginsburg himself did, but I would not be surprised. But according to him, like, he was just like, no, I'm doing this on my own to, be a wild man. And, I'm going to go back to being to nature and, being not part of your civilization, dude. So
gay pagan.
Yeah, pretty much. But I wouldn't be surprised, given how many of the other characters like Tim Leary and even perhaps McKenna, they had Fed ties. So I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, Leary, there's a clip you can still find it on YouTube where he says you can trace the entire the 60s counterculture to the CIA. He's like, if you like it, you can thank the CIA for that. So why the LSD for the emerging white kids and not? I think that they probably did a lot of experimentation about which drugs worked best for which types of people or groups of people. Huxley said in a lot of his research, when he was talking about experimenting with LSD before they released it to, the white kids in the West, was that it had the ability to break down all of your boundaries and kind of change. It's a drug that radically changes a person. In many cases, not every
discernment, or not discernment in the sense of like spiritual discernment, but you're otherwise being closed off from people, guarded from people.
Yeah, like a person, like they would talk about how persons who grew up maybe with more of a conservative bent wanted to go to college and become a accountant or whatever. That after they would do these drugs, they were totally different people. So it sort of broke down all their boundaries, their sense of self, their sense of connection to their family, to their nation state.
We noticed that this one makes them gay and homeless.
Which one?
LSD, any of the psychedelics. This one very effectively turns them homosexual and makes them homeless. Let's give them that one.
Yeah, I think... yeah, I mean, so there's actually studies, right, where they talked about, so Huxley talks about it just basically as a potential cultural revolution drug. So I think that's why they wanted to see if it would do that. Other people talk about it doing this. John C. Lilly talks about it as a thing. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, like Leary, I think, even says that his thought was you could initiate an entire generation through in like a shamanic way to a new shamanic religion through these. Terrence McKenna, he says in his book, Food of the Gods, that the 60s counterculture, I kid you not, this actually ties into your gay comment. He says that if everybody took hallucinogens and LSD and all this stuff, then we would finally return to the worship of the goddess and we would stop being masculine like alphas. He says that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I actually have that book. I never read it because I'm retarded, but that's
He says
fascinating
it in the
because
first chapter. He says that. Yeah.
You didn't
wow.
even get past the first chapter, you
I never
idiot.
even opened that shit. It just looks cool on my shelf. Uh, that's crazy, man. Because
Yeah. And it also says in a video, by the way, you can find it on YouTube. Somebody was asking me the other day, I can't find this video. It's still there. I promise you. It's something like what the mushroom said to me. And when you play it, Terrence McKenna says, "You might think the mushroom told me that everyone needs to save the earth or get rid of the brown people. No, the mushroom said that the white soccer moms in California need to stop having children." So that literally the mushroom is telling him like exactly what the CFR and the globalists want, right? It's like,
whoa, that is fucking fascinating.
Dude, it's I think
I'll
it's a
send you guys that
misconception.
clip. I'll find it later.
Yes, please. It might be a misconception that a mushroom is doing this, or we're big fans of portals, Tony Merkel fans. So it's to me, it just seems like a lot of these things, like LSD, mushrooms, methamphetamine, they're just tools to open up a portal into different directions.
Father Seraphim Rose, some of the Orthodox writers say this, that because he used to do psychedelics before he became Orthodox, and he talks about it opening up that spiritual portal. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had experiences. I did a lot of mushrooms one time, and I didn't have anything negative happen to me. But what I can say definitively is that my thoughts were not my own. I was being given shit to think about.
The puppeteers, the puppeteers.
Yeah, it was like somebody turned a faucet on, and I was just getting drenched with fucking information, because I remember my reaction to it specifically was like, huh, that's interesting. Huh, okay. Like everything was as if I was looking at it. So it very much feels like, we bring him up every fucking episode. We just brought him up on the previous episode. But Dr. Jerry Marzinski is a clinical psychologist for 35 years in the field.
We should just get a drop. I'm just going to get a drop like on the
Yeah.
roadcaster that just does this spiel, because we do it every episode. It's disgusting. It's like, hold on, we're going to pull up the clip of
Jerry Marzinski. But he's an awesome guy. He dealt with schizophrenia, and he came to the conclusion, after all his schooling and everything, that this was in fact spiritual in nature, and that these people were under the influence by demonic entities. And he said that drugs act as a portal to commune with these things, and the most effective one that mirrors schizophrenia almost exactly is methamphetamine.
Interesting. Huxley says as well that he noticed early on when he was experimenting with LSD, both on himself and with other people, that it seemed to have the ability to induce schizophrenia and dissociation. So they knew that early on. And I forgot to mention, there's a really important white paper you guys should check out. It's pretty famous. It's produced in concert with Stanford Research Institute, which was together with Esalen Institute, was spearheading a lot of this 60s counterculture stuff from the establishment, by the way, not from a grassroots thing. It's called Changing Images of Man. Have you heard of that?
No.
Yeah, you gotta check this out. It's a famous Stanford white paper which talks about the cultural revolution and how they wanted it to happen, and where they wanted it to go, to basically just create a bunch of idiots who pretended that they're shaman. What we see, like, with the yoga Instagram chicks, yoga Instagram chicks. That's what they wanted, because those are the kind of people that will fit better into the coming technocracy. So